The idea why someone would want to hurt him?
Because they jealous. My brother was up-and-coming rapper, doing his thing, stayed out the way, light-skinned, getting money, doing what he needed to do.
This is the scene outside a quiet street in Hyattsville, Maryland, on October 31st, 2024. A rising rapper named 3, had just been shot dead outside his own home while walking his dog, less than an hour after he was supposed to be sitting inside a courtroom facing a weapons trial. His family is crying on the sidewalk, and the police have no suspect. And somewhere nearby, a car is on fire. Before this day, Treshawn Sparrow Bay was one of the most talked about young rappers in the DMV, which is what people call the Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia area. He had been grinding for years and was finally starting to get real traction.
But we are going to show you exactly how a court document with his home address on it may have gotten him killed, and how the one person who police believed pulled the trigger made a move so bold and so stupid that it eventually got him caught. Let us start from the beginning.
What side of town you from?
You on the north with it, man. Northeast, man. Yeah, 58.
What's a regular day like in your hood?
Yeah. Niggas out here coolin', trying to get some money, you hear me? Playing games like that, studio, you hear me? Regular shit. Same different toilet, you hear me?
Treshawn Sparrow Bay grew up in northeast D.C. near the 58th Street area, one of the harder parts of the city. He moved to the D.C. area when he was about 11 years old in 2019, and the neighborhood shaped everything about how he moved, how he thought, and eventually how he rapped.
Hey man, it's the first house, man. 518 59th Street. It's the first house I moved around here. 06, I was like 11 years old, you hear me? Me and my little family, you understand? That's where it all started at, you hear me?
He went to Gage Egerton Elementary School and later attended H.D. Woodson High School, where he would link up with a guy who would later become one of his closest rap collaborators, Lil Dude. Growing up, there was not a lot to do and not a lot of money around. Sports was one option, but that did not pan out. So Treshawn did what a lot of young men from his area did. He turned to rap.
What made you start rapping?
What made me start rapping?
Yeah.
What made me start rapping? I had to find something to do, you hear me? A nigga was trying to get rich, you hear me? Nigga trying to get rich, I was, you hear me? A nigga was hooping, that shit wasn't working. Nigga said, that, I'm about to start rapping, you hear me? Straight up, start rapping.
Under the name 3, he built a real catalog over several years, dropping tracks like Heroic featuring Low Plaga in 2019, then Vultures with his longtime friend Lil Dude, which pulled in over 100,000 views and was filmed right in the Clay Terrace neighborhood he was affiliated with.
Surrounding myself on the wall, I'm really somebody, I got move cold. This feel very weird, I know I ain't shit familiar. Gang, I put you on mode, believe that. Hand-to-hand missile, the junkies, they need that. And I'm testing, they giving me feedback. First clear, they make 10, and ain't even play it. They only 30, you ain't even see that. Punk-ass niggas, you pray over there. They gotta make 30K work in the ditch. You niggas might never see that in your life. Touchdown in the face, he already got night. But where they going, I'm not niggas fighting. You know it's the code that we stay in the ocean. Got every song I put this bitch on the sky. Kitty, so I put my hands on. I almost put shit on his head, he was lying. That jungle be singing like that. He only be thugging on Instagram. He be sounding sweet though. I saw that paperwork, that nigga cheated. Smacked in the back of your head. Ski-bo, I let a nigga be in-house, catching that deep throat. Fly under the radar, I'm ducking the radar. Last time, put me on charge.
He followed that up with Heavy Rotation, Bump, TGSM, and his personal favorite 36 Zips freestyle.
One nigga down and 2 got hit. I 3, 4 niggas and all black niggas. Top on the switch when they feel it. Back in the pack with my 106. Pushing the block like 7 a.m. By A, I be straight, I can take the shit in. Make 9 bands easy, it's waiting for 10. 11 missed calls and I'm burning the pen. I'm cutting the apple, I'm still at the 12. Shot in the air, left 13 shit. That's how I never step for the 14. You might get 15 back if you whipping your wheel. There's 16 left in this block, 17 or 18. So straight from many years.
was raw and direct, built on real stories from real places, and people in the DMV scene were starting to pay attention.
What's your best song?
What's my best song?
Yeah.
Probably 36 Zips.
By 2022 and 2023, he was getting airplay on local DMV stations and building a real following online. He put himself at #1 in the DMV scene, and while that might sound like big talk, the numbers were starting to back him up. He was independent. He did not want to sign to anybody. He had a plan to build his own label called Motion Gang and run the whole thing himself.
So if you had to sign to 4PF or 4K Trey, who would you sign to?
I ain't even gonna lie, you hear me? I wouldn't do no signing. I wouldn't have to sign, you hear me? I wouldn't do no signing, you hear me?
What's your outcome in rap? You looking for a rap deal, you looking for a label deal, or you just looking to stay independent and just own the streets?
Shit, I'm trying to be independent right now, you hear me? Run it up all the rap shit, you hear me? Then boost my label, you hear me? Motion Gang. Make it make sense, you hear me?
Outside of music, Treshawn was a father of 3 young boys. The people around him described him as someone who was dedicated to his kids and who mostly stayed out of trouble as his career started moving. His mother had been his biggest anchor, but she passed away from cancer around 2023, which was a big loss for the whole family. And his younger brother Kevin was not around to help carry that weight either, because Kevin Sparrow Bay had been convicted in 2019 for armed robbery and carjacking in Prince George's County and was serving a 25-year sentence. So Treshawn was holding things together mostly on his own. The music was his way out, for him and for his kids, and for a while it really looked like it was working.
I plan on taking it to the next level. Hard work, consistency. I feel like I got a unique sound, it's just, it's a unique vibe to me, you know what I'm saying? Not to toot my own horn, but I know where I could go with this shit, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, what's next in my career is just straight hard work, straight making them feel this shit, you know what I'm saying? Because mind you, this all off a year of taking it serious. I've been rapping for a minute, but I started taking it serious Halloween of 2021, you know what I'm saying? So fast forward to now, like that little bit of hard work got me here in a year. Ain't no telling where I could go, you know what I'm saying? By next year, the year's coming. You know what I'm saying?
He started taking rap seriously on Halloween of 2021. He died on Halloween of 2024.
Exactly 3 years later, almost to the hour. But before any of that happened, trouble found him first. On August 8, 2024, Treshawn was stopped by police during a routine traffic stop in Prince George's County. And when officers searched him, they found cannabis, a registered firearm, illegal ammunition, and a loaded handgun on his person. He was arrested on multiple charges. 2 days later, he posted a $2,500 bond and walked out. On September 12th, he went back to court for a preliminary hearing and entered a not guilty plea. A trial date was scheduled for October 31st at 10:31 in the morning. That court date and everything attached to it was about to become the most dangerous piece of paper with his name on it. Here is something that most people outside of DC do not fully understand about how the court system works in Maryland. When you get charged with a crime, your paperwork goes into the public court record system. That means your name, your charges, your court date, and in a lot of cases, your home address can be found by anyone who knows how to look. There is no warning, no protection, nothing automatic to keep that information away from people who might want to use it against you. In Treshawn's case, his address on Atlee Drive in Hyattsville was listed in those publicly available court filings tied to his weapons charges, and those documents were posted online alongside his court date. So anyone who was watching him, anyone who had a reason to want to get at him, now knew exactly where he lived. And they knew that on the morning of October 31st, he would be home getting ready for court. Maryland law does allow you to apply to shield or seal certain records, but it is not automatic. You have to petition the court for it. And for pending weapons charges like his, those filings stay public unless a judge orders otherwise. Nobody warned him or flagged it, and the people watching him did not need anything else. Now, let us talk about who was watching him, because this is where the Clay Terrace and Lincoln Heights war comes in.
And you need to understand that history to understand why Trayshawn was a target. Trayshawn was affiliated with the Clay Terrace neighborhood in northeast DC. Clay Terrace and Lincoln Heights have been beefing since at least the early 1990s, separated by a single street called Division Avenue. But that short distance has been the line between life and death for a lot of people over the years. The rivalry had been getting worse since around 2022, with both sides dropping diss tracks, robbing each other, and retaliating with real violence. In 2018, a mass shooting inside Clay Terrace killed a 10-year-old girl named Micaiah Wilson, with shooters reportedly firing more than 50 rounds into a courtyard.
At 5, life in prison for one of the 5 men in the 2018 murder of Micaiah Wilson.
Micaiah was shot and killed just outside of her northeast home while trying to get ice cream. It has been 5 years since her death. Our Stephanie Ramirez was inside of that courtroom today and joins us with more details. Steph?
And guys, this defendant who essentially got a life sentence here, his name is Isaiah Murchison, and officials say he was one of the 4 men seen on camera getting out of the car and firing into a northeast D.C. courtyard about 5 years ago. Now, the judge today ordered at least 60 years behind bars for this individual who was 18 years old at the time. He's now 23, and there is, according to the court spokesperson, a 50-year mandatory minimum. So he's now looking at being behind bars until he is in his 70s at the very least. After court today, I did speak one-on-one with Micaiah Wilson's father, and the family is pleased, saying that safety is a big issue in the city and that this sentencing is an example.
We're just glad with the outcome, glad at what we heard, because it wasn't a joke. A life was taken, so we're just happy the judge, made that example of them, and hopefully anybody else that come behind them, the same thing happened to them.
A cousin of the 10-year-old killed said in court today during impact statements that some of Micaiah's last words were consoling her family, saying she was okay, that it was just a little pain, and then she died. It was July 16, 2018, by 53rd Street Northeast, when police say 4 gang members got out of a car and started firing over 50 shots in a Clay Terrace courtyard because of a petty social media feud, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. This year, there were actually 6 men convicted in the case. 5 were convicted of Micaiah's murder and a number of other serious charges. 1 was acquitted of murder, but convicted of conspiracy for allegedly lining up the car and guns used. Now, that person is 21-year-old Markel Cobbs, who was 16 years old at the time. A judge sentenced him today to 72 months behind bars, 3 years supervised release. The U.S. Attorney's Office had asked for 84 months in that case there. I can tell you with the heavy sentence for the other individual, that really reflects a number of other people also injured in this, including Micaiah Wilson's own sister, who was also shot back in this incident in 2018. The other 6 defendants not sentenced today. They are expected to go before a judge for sentencing later this month. We did already hear from at least one of the defendants' attorneys saying they plan to appeal.
In March of 2024, just 7 months before Trayshawn was killed, a Clay Terrace affiliate known as Nando was shot dead in a mall shooting involving twin brothers connected to Lincoln Heights, who were later charged with murder. And street-level reporting suggested that in the months leading up to Halloween, people connected to Trayshawn had allegedly robbed a drug supplier in front of that supplier's family, which, in those streets, is the kind of thing that guarantees somebody is coming for you. It does not matter how far you have moved away or how much music you are making, the clock starts ticking. So, on the morning of October 31st, 2024, while Trayshawn was inside his home on Atlee Drive, getting ready for his 10:31 court appearance, 2 men were already outside, waiting. At around 11:25 in the morning, Trayshawn stepped outside to walk his dog on a quiet residential street half a mile from Northwest Stadium, where the Washington Commanders play. 2 men dressed in black pulled up in a Nissan, leaned out of the windows, and opened fire without saying a single word to him.
Did you hear anything else besides the gunshots? Any voices yelling or
I heard
anything?
nothing. It was just a gunshot. I thought it was fireworks at first. That's typically, you hear it, and then it just kept going, and I was like, those aren't fireworks.
How many gunshots would you say?
About 15 to 20.
about 15 shots fired into a man who was just trying to get outside for a few minutes before court. He was hit multiple times in the head, the face, and the body, and was found by police unresponsive on the sidewalk. Despite everything they tried, he was pronounced dead at the scene.
Prince George's County Police say they have not identified a suspect or suspects as of right now. For the murder victim's family, it's a loss that's hard to make sense of. 3 Commas, a rising star in the DC music scene. This, one of his rap videos, available on YouTube. Trayshawn was shot and killed this morning here in the 900 block of Atlee Drive in Hyattsville, just before 11:30. Police arriving on scene say they found a man suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. They say despite life-saving efforts, the victim was pronounced dead on the scene. Neighbors say they heard multiple gunshots this morning, shocked at what they then discovered. Did you hear anything else besides the gunshots? Any voices yelling or?
I heard nothing. It was just I thought it was fireworks at first. That's typically, you hear it and then it just kept going. And I was like, those aren't fireworks.
How many gunshots would you say?
About 15 to 20.
Police say they're still searching for suspects and a motive in the killing.
After the shots, the 2 men drove a short distance away, set the Nissan on fire, and escaped in a second car they had been waiting in. They came prepared to destroy the evidence. This was not a robbery gone wrong. This was a hit. Prince George's County Police made that clear almost immediately, ruling out any possibility that the shooting was random and opening a homicide investigation. More than a dozen of Treshan's family members came to the scene. His sister Sedana stood in front of news cameras and said what the whole family believed.
The idea why someone would want to hurt him?
Because they jealous. My brother was up-and-coming rapper, doing his thing, stayed out the way, light-skinned, getting money, doing what he needed to do. They was hating. We did them with a lot. So it's sad, but that's the world we live in right now. And they know whoever did it, karma's coming.
On November 1st, investigators announced a $25,000 reward through Prince George's County Crime Solvers for any information leading to an arrest.
Meanwhile, we have an update on a deadly shooting in Prince George's County. Police identified the man shot and killed near Northwest Stadium yesterday. We first brought you this story as breaking news on the news at 4 yesterday. Police say 29-year-old Trayshawn Sparrow Bay was shot and killed on Atlee Drive in Hyattsville. At this hour, officers do not have a shooter in custody. If you have any information, contact police.
On November 2nd, his family held a vigil on a basketball court in Northeast DC, releasing green, white, and silver balloons while his music played through the speakers. His sisters Sedana and Aaliyah spoke about the kind of man he was and about the fact that they had already been through their mother's death just the year before. Now they had lost him too.
I just broke down because he died literally in the same place my mother died. My mother ended up having cancer, but in the house.
Sedana Sparrow is Trayshawn's older sister. She, along with other family and friends, put together this vigil to shed light on her brother. Through unfortunate tragedy, she says she's come to learn about the lives he touched.
I didn't know the big impact he's leaving behind on people that I just didn't know, people that I work with. I didn't know 3 Commas was your brother.
Prince George's County Police say Sparrow Bay was shot and killed in Landover near Atlee Drive on Halloween morning. Investigators say they're working to determine a motive and identify a suspect or suspects. Police say they do not believe the shooting was random. Sparrow Bay was known to many as rapper 3 Commas, whose music spilled out through the DMV airwaves. He leaves behind 3 little boys and a host of family and friends who made sure to support one another at this Northeast vigil.
It's been a tough road, but I feel like, you know what I'm saying, I can't sit stuck. I can't just sit stuck. I appreciate the support. My brother would have wanted, everybody out here, making sure that his name's still heard.
Prince George's County Police is offering a $25,000 reward for anyone who offers any information in this case that leads to an arrest.
People showed up to that vigil who did not even know each other, strangers finding out for the first time that someone they both knew was the rapper 3 Commas. He had been living 2 lives, the public one and the private one, and both of them were full. For months after the murder, the official story from Prince George's County Police was the same every time anyone asked.
Baby Mo is a rapper from the Lincoln Heights neighborhood. the same area that had been in a running war with Clay Terrace for years.
They saying this man don't wanna shit back. I came out social every day, that's fact. I'ma keep pushing about it cause a nigga got cracked. They ain't up on the score, why the fuck would they lie? Them niggas is bitch, got a problem with pride. They ain't got a problem with pride, we just hopping that ride. We looking for something, we see something. That stand over there, boy, man, look in his eye. They speaking no cutter, but this man got cracked. They got back there, but they still ain't get back. They SOB, but they ain't standing no shit.
According to street-level reports, he is the twin brother of a Lincoln Heights rapper known as Lil Oak, who himself had been killed in a robbery, with some people in the area pointing fingers at Clay Terrace affiliates for that death. If that is true, then what happened to Treshawn was personal on top of everything else. Then, in August of 2025, almost 10 months after the murder, reports started coming out that Baby Moke had been arrested and charged with first-degree and second-degree murder in connection with Treshawn's killing. And when people started looking at the evidence being cited, one piece of it stood out more than anything else. Photographs had surfaced showing Baby Moke wearing Treshawn's chain after the murder. On top of that, investigators had linked the burned Nissan that the shooters used as their getaway car back to him as well. So you have a man who allegedly participated in a targeted murder, torched the car to get rid of the evidence, and then went out wearing the dead man's jewelry.
Now, to be clear and fair, Baby Moke's real name has not been confirmed in official public court records as of the latest available information, and he is presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. The official confirmation from Prince George's County Police remained limited even after the street reports started spreading, but the evidence being cited in those reports, the burned car and the chain photos specifically, is exactly the kind of physical evidence prosecutors love because juries understand it immediately. You do not need to explain DNA or ballistics, you just show them a picture of a man wearing a dead man's jewelry. In September of 2025, reports came out that Baby Moke had been stabbed while in jail, which told you everything you needed to know about the fact that the war between these two neighborhoods did not stop just because somebody was behind bars. The cycle kept going. And that is really the bigger story here, because Treshawn Sparrow Bay is not the first person this has happened to in the DMV, and unless something changes, he will not be the last. In March of 2022, 24-year-old Gunu was shot and killed in a parking lot in District Heights, PG County, on his way to drop off a birthday gift for his sister. His family believed it was a robbery. Prince George's County Police offered a $25,000 reward, the exact same amount as in Treshawn's case, and no arrests were widely reported for a long time after. In 2016, 18-year-old Swipey was shot dead outside his apartment complex in Suitland, just getting started with his career, with real radio play and label interest. In February of 2023, 21-year-old Semi Homie was killed in a triple shooting in Northeast DC, right when he had just signed a distribution deal. In January of 2025, Lil Zelly was found shot dead in a car in a Maryland parking lot. Year after year, the same story. More than 12 DMV rappers were killed in 2024 alone. Every single time, the family talks about how the person was just trying to do their thing. Every single time, balloons go up on a basketball court, music play, and then a few weeks later, people move on. What makes Treshawn's case stand apart, beyond all the grief, is the question about that court document. Because if the people who killed him found his address through publicly available legal records, and then used that information to sit in his house and wait for him to walk outside, then the system that was built to process justice may have played a direct role in his death. That is not a small thing. Maryland allows defendants to petition to have their records shielded in certain situations, but for a pending weapons case like his, those records stay open to the public unless a judge steps in. Nobody told Treshawn that his address was now visible to anyone who searched his name. Nobody warned him that his court date was going to be posted online with his home address attached, and the people who wanted to find him were clearly paying attention. He was 29 years old. He had 3 sons. He had been working towards something real for years, and it was finally starting to pay off. He put it plainly himself in one of his last interviews.
Career is just straight hard work, straight making them feel this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because mind you, this all off of year of taking it serious. I've been rapping for a minute, but I started taking it serious Halloween of 2021. You know what I'm saying? So fast forward to now, like that little bit of hard work got me here in a year. Ain't no telling where I could go, you know what I'm saying? By next year, the year's coming, you know what I'm saying? So hard work.
He said that 3 years before the morning he died, and he meant every word of it. He really thought the next year was going to be his, and honestly, based on the trajectory he was on, he was probably right. What do you think about these murders? Let me know in the comment section. Click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this. See you in the next one.